but maybe one starting question from our side. We know that Primo1D was founded 7 years ago. Which milestones, maybe personal, which milestones do you look back on with particular joy and perhaps also pride? What are there? Maybe 3 or 4 points you can mention.
Yeah, thank you for Jan this introduction. We are very proud to. During those last year, I've gone through the industrialization of our technology with success. So I think this is a great milestone to us, you know, this gives me the opportunity also to tell to the community that we moved to new premises a couple of days ago, and this will allow us to house all our machinery and be ready for the industrial ramp up in the coming weeks. So this is something that makes us very proud.
Great news, great news, good to hear. Okay, yeah, thank you for that. And now my colleague will hand over the moderator rights to you, so you can share your screen with us, share your presentation with us, and as soon as you're ready, Victoria and I will switch off. So.
Good afternoon, everyone. So I'm very happy to open this afternoon session. I'm Isabelle Devant, key account manager at Primo1D, and I will take this opportunity today to introduce you, of course, our technology called eThreads, and we will also share our vision, which is that we aim at supporting digitalization within the fashion retail, and that means that we support the fact that we can turn simple garments into smart garments. So this will be the, let's say, the presentation of today, and we will go through different presentation. Those are the 4 parts I would like to present you. A few words about the platform description called eThreads, and then we will more have a deep dive into the fashion industry, and we will explain you how we can integrate our RFID tag inside the garment and what kind of use cases we can serve from the moment that we have an ID that is digital and native inside the garment. So let's go through the technology description. So we are a solution provider within the RFID ecosystem, offering a passive rain RFID tag with a very specific geometry. This is a filler form, something that is very tiny. We will go into details in a few slides about the product and its geometry. Since it is very small, we can easily integrate it into products, into objects or materials. So that makes us so different compared to all tags we could find on the market, as a matter of fact. And our technology called eThreads is protected by a portfolio of 20 international patents as of today, meaning we cover the technology itself, the way we build up our tag, and also all the know-how around the manufacturing, which is key when we put this kind of innovation on the market. So now I will like to showcase you a bit more details about the product itself. So you see here on the left side a base product, a standard product, I would say. So yes, it looks like a yarn. So because the outer layout is a textile, it's made of nylon. And what our difference is lays in the fact that we make direct connections of the conductive wires to the IC chip. So this makes it very simple, robust, and tiny. So this let's say size shrinkage is, I would say, our key differentiator compared to other kind of inlays we would find on the market. So you see here a few features about the product. It is resistant to chemical attacks. to also stress, mechanical stress and endurance, like bending, washing, and elongations. And it can withstand as well temperature peaks up to 200 degrees. So that makes a difference as well compared to other tags you would find on the market. And last but not least, the footprint of our tag is very low, so it makes it also interesting for some specific use cases. So once again, what you see here on the picture is really the product baseline, meaning that you see we offer different customization, and this is key. This is key because when we talk about a product that is embedded, you need to take into account all the features of the object we embed the RFID tag inside. So we can play on those different options, meaning we can use different types of antenna wires depending on the RF and mechanical performances you're looking for. We can also integrate different type of RFID chip depending on the sensitivity you're looking for or the user memory size. We can also have different options when it talks about the spinning, and the spinning is about the coverage of our tag to make it more resistant. So this is something we can also customize, and we can at the end have let's say a broad possibility to package it in different types of materials. That can be textile, of course, but that can be also plastics components. And once again, depends, it's very use case dependent, and depends also on the customer specification. So let's talk now about the eThread technology itself and its performances. So remember that we are talking about a passive rain RFID tag. So you see here two graphs, and on the left side you see some performance in a single reading distance. So we can reach up to 12 meters reading distance, and we cover SC and FCC bands, which is very interesting when we talk to brand owners, for instance, who are present worldwide. And we also design our tag to make it very to perform in retail environments. And when we talk about retail environments, we talk about high density stacked conditions. And for that reason, we design our tag with proprietary design. This is not a simple dipole. This is a dipole with matching impedance stub. So that makes it, let's say, outperforming versus some of conventional inlays. So there is something very specific about our product, is that we do not compromise between the tag size and the RFID performance. So even if we are identified as a technology, I told you as an introduction that we went through the industrialization with success. And this is the reason why I think it's important now to pinpoint the fact that we are ready to scale up. And I want to highlight here the fact that we have a model that is based on long-lasting partnerships. And you see here the first part of our process, which is, of course, about semiconductor. So we use an RFID chip from the market supplied by Impinj. And then we go through microassembly process. And on that step, particularly, we have co-designed with the company Mühlbauer an assembly line, which will be installed in our premises in the coming weeks. And as a third step, then we will go through the converting line as well. So this will enable us to supply to the market spools of RFID tags, which are 100% tested and encoded. So you can see here on that process that we are at each stage supported by a worldwide leader, and this is key to us to reach the ramp up in successful conditions. So now I would like to go deeper into details with regards to fashion retail, and I think it's the time now to tell you how we embed our system into garments. So you see here already keywords is about embedding, and it's about doing it at source, and this is precisely what some problems we think we can solve with our system is that it can be done at source, and it is so small that it's not detachable because it's embedded, and it's so small that it's not intrusive, and it's very flexible. So this is those are the three reasons why we went for this FILA form, and we think that those three features are key for turning simple assets into smart assets. So let's talk a little more about our solution. Our solution, this passive rain RFID tag, looks like a strip. So you will see here on the picture that presser foot, and in that presser foot you see a narrow ribbon. That narrow ribbon is made of polyamide textile, and inside that textile you will have hidden our RFID tag. So this is something we have developed thanks to iterations with some customers, and we have tuned the system to make sure that we can integrate it into a very easy way at a manufacturing point for garments. So when we talk about our product, of course, as I told you a couple of slides ago, we are compliant with all the standards, meaning ISO and GEN 2 V2 as well. And we cover the broadband for ETSI and FCC. At the moment, we use Impinj Monza R6P chipsets, and in the coming weeks, we will be able to supply our tag with the new chipsets from Impinj, and this one will enable us to tackle specific applications because thanks to these features like the new protected mode from Impinj, which is interesting when we want to tackle this privacy management. We also have a higher sensitivity, which grants to for the brand owner or for the retailer a better sensitivity when they take inventory. And also the specific feature that is called Integra, which is interesting for the service bureau. So those three aspects are key because we associate them to our embedding system, which is very interesting for brand owner. So a little more about the physical features of our strip. So imagine that you have in your hand a narrow ribbon of 13 centimeters long, and I see a typo here. The width of our ribbon is 4 millimeters and not 4 centimeters. So last but not least, this has the smallest tag footprint on the market at the moment. So I think this is key now to show you how easy and how quick it is to integrate this RFID strip inside the garments. So I share with you in a very open way the video of how we did it at the garment manufacturing. So you can see here it takes a few seconds, and very soon it will be that easy for people working on the garment manufacturing to integrate it very smoothly. So this will be done, of course, at garment manufacturing side. And from that moment, yeah, you will be able to have a detachable, native, and digital ID inside a garment. This is what we call a smart garment. So consider that you have this little RFID strip inside a garment. What happened from that moment? What can we do for the brand owner and for the retailer? Imagine that you have a native digital ID that is binded for inside your physical assets. So we believe that this is a great enabler for, of course, omni-channel strategy, and we can also allow to get even a better inventory accuracy, because when you will take inventory at DC, or when you would take inventory at point of sales, whenever you will get the EPC, that would mean that you would get the physical asset, that is where you have the ID inside. There is no way to detach our tag from the garment unless you would deteriorate the garment itself. So that's why we believe this gives confidence for getting even higher inventory accuracy that with a detachable tag. And as a matter of fact, the track and trace, it was with our tagging solution, we can also grant the product authentication with this uniqueness of the digital ID. And this is something I think that is valuable for all the B2B applications that we also need to set up when we talk about RFID implementation. When it deals with smart garments, it is not only about track and trace functionalities, but you can also think about another functionality that can be additionally offered by our tag, is that you embed the anti-theft, the ERS system at source. And we know that because we've been through testing during demos, that is an efficient system for anti-theft application. First of all, because it is undetachable, and then because the performance itself it's very great, even compared to other kind of systems. So once again, it's noticeable to say that we can tackle this privacy management thanks to our chipset features. And due to the fact that we are invisible and detachable, this has a strong impact onto the internal and external shrinkage. So we believe that we can serve the operation and streamline the operation throughout the value chain in a very smart way, because we grant a native digital ID, and this is undetachable, and this is where our value stays. We would like to highlight two use cases, and specifically the return management and circular economy, because we believe once again that having a system that is embedded and durable is a way to offer to all stakeholders value for every item that is produced by, for instance, brand owner. Imagine that during the product journey, you will have a product that will be back to the shop or the DC. You can imagine that if you have something embedded, you will not have to re-tag your article. That will save labor and cost, of course, either at shop or DC, and that would speed up all operations that are related to replenishment, that are related also to product status and stuff like this. So that's where we believe that having something embedded is a plus versus, I would say, detachable solutions. And we believe that we can offer a seamless customer experience, for instance, on shop floor, when having the possibility to have a more fluid product return at shop floor, as well as warehouse treatment. And last but not least, we would like to also share with you something that is more for perspective, but we believe that the concept of circular economy in fashion retail is a very fast-growing element, and we would like also to support this. And we believe that by having something durable, this will able to support transparency, to unlock customer exchange of data, information, and this is very key when we want to optimize the use of RFID for the life cycle of the garment. So we believe in that way that we can really support all the reuse, the recycle initiatives of the brand owners, and we also are able to, let's say, enable a pivot to new business model, like the rental model, for instance, and that makes Primo1D offer something very specific for managing the entire life cycle of the garment. So, future is embedded. We believe that our tag is as a key offer and very much and maximizing the use of RFID for a longer, I would say, product journey. And this would be of interest for the brand owner and all stakeholders in the fashion retail. Thank you for your attention.
Yeah, Isabelle, thank you very much for your presentation, for the interesting news regarding the industrialization of that what you and your colleagues developed during the last years. And yes, I think we have now the time for some questions here from the chat. Victoria, you like to start?
Sure, no problem. Isabelle, it says here Primo1D has a very unique product for the fashion trade, and the benefits of smart yarn are obvious all along the value chain. But how do you explain to a non-technician what smart yarn can do?
What a smart yarn can do, this is a good question. So you can consider the smart yarn as a e-passport, you know, as an electronic identity card for the unique product that wears the smart yarn. So it's like an electronic passport, I would say. Yeah. For let's say identification purpose, of course, for counting as well, and also management of the product during its life cycle.
Yeah, that makes sense. Excellent. Thanks so much. Jan, I'll hand it back to you for some of the other questions.
Yeah, and there are some more questions popping off here in our chat. One is, how often are these tags washable and by what temperature?
When it comes to washability, our standard RFID tag designed for retail withstands 10 domestic cycles, washing cycles, okay? So at the moment, we also work on the possibility to improve that resistance. And we have a project to make it more resistant and to position ourselves in a circular economy projects where the demand is more around 80 washing cycles. So we are working very actively to position ourselves towards this kind of specification, and we should be ready by the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you very much. Victoria, do you have another question?
I do. I'm curious if your tag or the smart yarn is also integratable into car tires during production.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It is a very demanding application, as a matter of fact, but as explained for the garment, this is the same reality for car tires. I mean, we can integrate it into the compound, into the rubber, you know, and we can survive the vulcanization process, for instance.
Sounds great. Sounds great. Yeah. Okay. And here's another question. What is about the read range compared to standard RFID labels tagged to garments? Or
well, the read range and the performance is very good compared to inlays that we would find on the market, and we can also, in certain circumstances, outperform because we are able, as I said, to design our proprietary tag, and this is what we've done for retail specifically, and this is what we've done also for tires, where we can ensure something that is very specific. And so I would say that we went through demos and POC where we showcased that the performance of our tag is at least as good as what we would find on the market, and in some situations we even outperform.
Okay. Thank you for that answer. Victoria, do you have another question? Otherwise, I have one more.
Yeah, we do have several questions actually coming in. One of them is, how is the chip connected to the yarn? Is it a bare dye or is it somehow protected?
Well, this is a direct connection of the metallic wires to the bumps of the chips. And then there are a couple of tips I will not disclose, but we to make sure that it is robust enough, yes, we put some glue, some polymers around to protect the chip from the corrosion, for instance. Or so this is a couple of processes to make sure that everything is nicely and robustly, cohesive.
Okay, yeah, nicely packed. Okay.
Yeah, nicely packed as well.
Okay, Victoria, do you have another question? Otherwise, I would have the last one, I think, to...
You can go right ahead.
Okay. I see that there are more questions popping up. We see how we work with that afterwards. But is it possible to integrate the tag in any kind of garment, or are there any limitations regarding the garment materials?
I would say that we first target garments like shirts, jeans, etc. Because when it comes to knitting material, it's more a challenge. So yeah, this is it.
But it's the same like when you use standard RFID labels. The same limitation.
Sorry?
It's the same limitations as when you use standard RFID labels.
Well, it's very different because we are designed to be inside the garment. Okay, so you've seen that we ideally we would need a way to integrate it with like a sewing where you need a sewing staff, you know, and for some knitted garments you don't always use some sewing steps. So really depends on the garment family, I would say.
Okay. Yeah, then thank you from my side. This was the last question I received here. And yeah, I will give it back to Victoria. Is there anything else we
I
can
think
right now?
time-wise, we are out of time. We have a couple other questions, but perhaps we can just send them directly to Isabelle, and then we'll get back to the participants
Great.
later.
Okay. So Isabelle,
Thank you
very much for taking the time today.
My pleasure.
Presenting here. Thank you very much.